Morning, everybody. 8:10 a.m. It is February 15th. Welcome to my channel. Yesterday, the markets, like I said, were going to be a little weird, which they were, meaning that they wouldn't know which way to go. Especially, I mentioned in the trade plan that I was like, it's like you're between the two monthly and weekly, week-to-day VWAPs, so they bounced around there, but the market found its footing and rallied. So, market's bullish. It's proving it's bullish. You get a dip, it gets bought. And some of these stocks like Supermicro Computers and Nvidia, ARM, just going nuts. So it's really hard to tame this AI bubble, and Bitcoin slashed right through 50K. So those related stocks are also been moving. That's really what's been going on. Um, so without further ado, welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. I use volume profile, market profile to find structure in the market. Also use gamma exposure level, supply and demand, most shorter price of the year, the rolling month, the rolling week, and the preceding day. Also use anchor VWAPs. Um, all come together to form plans based on confluence, which is just a bunch of things lining up together, are better than one. So that's what I want to usually base my trades on: multiple confirmations, confluence. That's basically how I set things up. So, um, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And if you like my content, you can give me a like. And of course, you can follow me on social media at X at Gonzo719. And let's get into this. Let's get right into the futures watch list. And you can see, well, I didn't expect it to be that this had silver at the top, but silver's at the top. Silver is like the wild metal, it's kind of volatile. So that's up 1.71%. Bitcoin's up 1.06. Ether's up 1.01. Russell up 0.74. Now, interesting. 30-year bonds are being bought today. Okay. TLT and yields have risen pretty significantly lately. And TLT went all the way down to like 92. So maybe some people feel like it's a buying opportunity. Gold holding 2K, but did get some, did pull back. That's up 0.28. The Dow's up 0.17. ES is up 0.13. Nasdaq's up 0.11. So not huge. Not huge. 10-year yield will report at 820. I would think that that would go down a little bit. The VIX is at 14.36. It's down 0.14. The dollar is down 0.17. And crude had a large inventory yesterday than expected. Usually that's going to have some selling there because it's oversupply. So, which that did. So I still have my eye on that crude. Got a nice pullback now. So, but it's just a messy chart, kind of. Okay, let's move on to the Mag 7 Plus. Coin ripping again. And this thing was at 130 something not too long ago, and it's already at 170. Crazy. Up 6.73%. Okay. Tesla up 1%. Netflix up 0.55. Yesterday it gapped and went up higher yesterday. I had my eye on that, but Netflix is just a crazy mover. Um, Roblox up 0.36. All right, so let's go into some um, laggards. You got Baba, Apple, it's down 0.41. Um, AMD's down 0.62. Google. Now, a couple things about Apple and Google that I saw. Apple, I know that Warren Buffett shaved some of his Apple holdings. I saw that. Um, And 182.5, which was pretty much the lows of yesterday, is a very, very big negative gamma level. So that's where the Apple found support. And if you notice right now, Apple's about $1 above that right now. So that support's very key for Apple to hold. Also, you have the 200-day moving average on the daily at Apple. Okay. Google. I saw Stanley Druckenmiller, I believe, dropped his holdings of Google or Alphabet. That's probably why Google's down. That's what I saw. Um, all right, moving on to top sector stocks. Okay, Eli Lilly is a monster. Okay, Eli Lilly is a monster in the healthcare sector. Okay, Salesforce up 0.53 and Goldman Sachs up 0.25. All right, who's lagging? Disney is only down 0.1, and Chevron is down 0.75. Okay, I believe I saw Warren Buffett add Chevron shares or buy Chevron shares, and that's very interesting. And then they're in the negative this morning. Um, all right, down to my swing trade stock list. Oh, that's this trade list. Who's leading there? Well, I just added these. This S ticker SOUN. I saw that Nvidia. I want to say invested in them or so as soon as you got that news, look at that. That's up 77%. As long with this pharmaceutical company RXRX, they also either invested, I believe, into this company, and it's up 20%. So those stocks, I mean, especially that SOUN is only like $4 right now, and it's closed at 2.2, two and a quarter, and the other one is only $10, and it's up to 13. So I really want to be on a watch on these stocks. Just want to add them to my list. But Shake Shack is up 19.2.6%. Did they report? They did report. Shake Shack reported. All right. So whatever it is, the market likes it. Okay. Crocs also reported, and it looks like they did good. Supermicro Computers is just an absolute monster. It's at $928. It closed yesterday at $880. That is insane. Okay. Then you got the Riot. You got the Vertiv. Okay. You got Mara, Enphase, CrowdStrike, MicroStrategy, AI, Lucid, ARM, Arc, Unity, JetBlue. Those are the leaders there. Who's the laggards? We have Herbalife. Didn't have great earnings. Yeti looks like they didn't have good earnings. Twilio didn't have good earnings, so these are down. GPC, Paramount Global. I believe Paramount Global, did they have earnings? No, I believe they got it a downgrade. Or I just saw some news and now I'm not remembering it about what I saw. Cisco had earnings, not good, down. John Deere had earnings, not good. Okay, so those are the laggards today. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to the sectors. This morning, who is the leader? Real estate? Real estate is the leader today. That is very odd. Okay, very rare that that's the leader. Then you got semis, which just never seem to go down much, followed by utilities. So some defensive names strong this morning, which is surprising. Financials, okay. Is there a laggard? Only laggard is communications, and why? That's Google. Google's down 1.6%. Okay, that explains that. As far as the indexes in the morning, the Russell is the strongest, up 0.89. Okay, let's move on to some economic news. Economic calendar. and what we talked about earnings already. So let's go to our economic calendar. And today, what do we have? We have at 8:30, and 10-year yield, just to let everybody know, is down 0.91%, almost a percent. Okay. So this morning we have retail sales, export import prices, initial jobless claims, New York Empire State Manufacturing Index, Philly Fed Index, Manufacturing Index, retail sales minus autos. Okay, and then at 10 a.m. you have business inventories, NAHB Housing Market Index, and then you got Fed Waller speaking at 1:15. Okay, tomorrow's PPI. Okay, so that's pretty much the news. See the juice got anything for us? Just trying to see if there was anything up to no. Not really. Not really. Um, Let me see here. There could be anything else that I wanted to show you guys. Yeah, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's see what we have here. Okay, so here's a couple of those. So John Deere cuts 2024 profit view as high borrowing costs hurt farm equipment. All right. We got U.S. banks face 35 billion hit from Basel Endgame, says Oliver Wyman. Okay. Then we got Microsoft investing in 3.2 billion euros in Germany AI push. All right. I saw, let's see. Just trying to see what I saw. Talked about the Apple already. I know Cleveland Cliffs got a downgrade. All right, looks like Nvidia got a price target raise from 850 from 620. Airbnb raised its target price to 160 from 152. That's about it for today. I mean, there's nothing that I was really that I didn't speak about already. So yesterday after the close, who reported? Toyo, Occidental Petroleum, Cisco reported, Fastly, HubSpot, Upwork, QS. Um, Now today it was Crocs, John Deere, EPAM, Yeti, Penn, Wendy's. That was this morning. After the close today, we have DraftKings, Coinbase, Roku, Trade Desk, Applied Materials, DoorDash. So pretty decent ones today after the close. That should be interesting. Okay, pretty interesting. Pretty good ones after the close today. All right, we can move on to daily charts. All right. So, what did we do yesterday? Let's just look at this. All right. So yesterday opened here, came all the way down to here to yesterday's close to yesterday's open and close. Found buyers. And if you look to the left, that was old resistance. And then it got caught a bid and then went all the way up, closed here. So, what is the SPY doing now? It's at 499.60. 499.60. It is gapping higher. It's gapping higher into a gap. So we got a gap higher into a gap right now. Okay. So the Qs, we still have that gap as well. That closed a little bit yesterday, but also what did we do? Opened here, went all the way down to here. Didn't really reach the close of the previous day. Kind of went down into last month's highs. Okay, but then caught a bid and closed pretty much at the highs of the session. Where are we now? 434 basically. So we are gapping up in the Qs. Okay, into a gap. So very interesting. So it's like you got that gap down from CPI, and then you gapped into a gap yesterday. Filled the gap a little bit yesterday, and now we're gapping again. So this is just a nuts market. It's crazy. It really is crazy. And we can look right at now at the triple headed monster because really got to see what bonds want to do here. Okay. Okay. What do they want to do here? Because you got that big push up. Now look at that big push up with the CPI, right? And look, it's already starting to pair that gain of that big candle. It's pushing back now. Can this fall back? Because that would push the market higher. We have to see. Crazy moves in the bond market, okay? Fear. Okay, fear. Fear spiked up here on CPI. Yes, that the day after was a little tamer, and then now we're down back at like 14. Okay, I would say we got to go over 15 and 200-day moving average to see some fear again. Otherwise, we're going to go back to usual business here of this bullish market. All right, dollar. Again, look what happened to the dollar. Broke out of this range. Boom. Right, and now look, that's starting to retrace. So basically, if you look at it, the 10-year yield and the dollar kind of go hand in hand. Right. This is over the 200-day moving average. So really got to see how this really pans out. Okay, I think we can move on to the market profile and volume profile and look at our structure and come up with a game plan. Okay. Let's do that. This is my favorite way to get a plan. All right. Let's look at it together. Look at it together probably means I'm looking at it by myself. But let's look at it together. Again, I do this regardless if anybody's watching me or not, or it's just my routine. So this gets me set up for the morning. I don't look at it really and do a plan until I'm live, like right now. So I don't even know what I'm going to say yet, but let's analyze it together. Okay, so this is the rolling weeks profile. All right, so you have some distribution up here, right? That's basically volume from pre-CPI number. Then we have our value area here. That's the 70% of the trade in the last week has taken place. Really ugly looking profile. It's not normal because of the CPI. That's why it looks like that. Okay, not really normal at all. Most traded price of the week in the RTH session is here. Okay, in the 24-hour session it actually is here, but price is here. So we could return back to here, which is around 5,040. That could be the magnet that it's going to go back into. You can see this gap right here was partially filled. Right here was partially filled. That's all that's left of this gap. Okay. And so that we're below the most traded price of the week, above the most traded price of the month. Okay. Like I said, not. Oh boy. Well, news just dropped right now. So that's why you're getting this little volatility. I just heard supply, whatever it is, the market seems to like it. These news releases right now, that, well, jobless claims actually. Let's just look at that real quick. I don't want to keep you guys in the dark. We'll just look at how that number came out. Let's look at it really quickly. Jobless claims. Okay, we were expecting 220, got 212. That's actually not super bearish, but a tiny bit. But let's see, manufacturing forecasting negative 14. It was a negative 2.4. Philly Fed manufacturing forecast negative 9. It came out positive 5.2. So retail sales, forecast 0.3. Retail sales was a negative 0.8. So that might not be great. That's not great. So it's a little bit of a mixed bag, but now the market's selling a little bit. So we'll go back. Let's go back to this. All right, now you're getting some selling. So you got some volatility with some news here. So we could still get into this because I don't believe this market's going to fall apart, but it could. Anything's always possible. Okay. All right, let's look at some of our barometers. Okay. We got our week-to-date VWAP right here. So for the week, buyers in control. We got our month-to-date VWAP right here is green. Whenever they're green, buyers are in control. So we battled them yesterday, and the buyers won. Buyers are back in control for the week and the month. Okay? Feather in the cap for them. All right, and you can see yesterday, just want to go over this real quick. I talked about this week low here yesterday, right here. I said that's got to be defended for the bulls. And look what happened. Market came right into this demand zone, and that was the last time, and this monthly VWAP, and that was off to the races, and the market moved higher. Okay. Also, I said, remember this was 100% net long in the morning. Look, the market opened up here at the high of the overnights. And what did I say? I said, usually when you have longs from here and here, if you start to move through this most traded price, you're going to get a corrective activity. And look what happened. The market moved right back down to here. So they took this out, and market needed to digest it, and boof, went off. So exactly what I said the bulls needed to do. Now the market's going higher. This is nuts. All right. So we're gapping up. Okay. We're gapping up into a gap. This is just a crazy market. Jesus. So here's yesterday's lows. Here's yesterday's highs. Price is right here. 5,031. About to go into supply zone. Okay. This doesn't count as a fill in the gap because it's not real-time trading hours. Okay. So we have a balanced session. Here's the midpoint. Now you're pushing up, but it's got a double distribution here. Okay. Inventory is fairly balanced. Not a lot of edge there. You're gapping up. Okay. Gapping up. Now, anybody knows, we've talked about the gap rules before. How do you gauge it? Right? Well, it's all about the gap fill. Gap fills here. If you fail to fill the gap and go higher, that is bullish, right? That's pretty bullish. Still bullish, but a little less bullish is if you come in here and you touch and fill the gap, but then you push off, right? And then if that does not happen and you start moving back into range, that just tells you that the buyers aren't as strong right now, and we could correct, possibly go back down to the most traded price of yesterday. Okay. Now there is supply up here. This market's moving around pretty much with those numbers. Okay. So market closed at the highs yesterday, and we're maintaining those prices higher, so that's bullish. Okay. But this is still this is still something I'm not really crazy about. You have the most traded price above us, right? That should cause resistance and supply. That should cause resistance. I think this market might do one of these today and maybe come back in here for us to set up to maybe go higher, you know, because can this market just keep powering up, right, without getting a little corrective activity? Because it just, the dip was bought and now it's moving back up, right? Is it moving back up too quick? I don't know. So let's just get into scenarios of what I'm seeing here. And right now, right off the bat, and am I in love with what I'm seeing? Not in love with it, no. Nope. So let's go and analyze this and look at scenarios together. Okay. All right. So if you're a bull, you have demand zone, kind of a stacked demand zone right here. Okay. Now, of course, we could gap and go. Talked about that already. We can fail to fill the gap and go. I don't like this. The most traded price of the week in supply zone is right there, 5,040. So I don't like this at all. If we just push up, that's going to go without me. Okay, it could do that, right? But I would more like to do, if it came up in here, failed, right, and came back in here, maybe touched, filled the gap, touched this demand, and then you get the move to give you the fuel to pay, to bypass 5,040. You could even go down to here. Okay, that's what I feel right now. This overnight low here, right here, I wouldn't call that a weak low, but I would watch it. The bulls need to defend this, because if they don't, we're most likely at least going to go back to yesterday's most traded price here. Okay, and then maybe we do this. Now, as far as the bearish play, you do have a big level here, 5,040. You do have supply. Okay, so that's one thing. You know, you do have longs that have not been hurt. Got a low here, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, and now we're gapping up again. But if we push into the supply zone and can't break this 540, I believe you can get a nice push, possibly down to fill the gap. If you fill the gap and break through these demand zones, you're going to go and visit the most traded price of yesterday, about 5,000 or 4,997. Okay, if you break that, you're probably going to test the lows of yesterday. Now remember, do I think that's going to happen? I don't know. It's just a scenario, though. Okay, scenario. So from this news this morning, there's been a little bit of volatility. All right, let's look at the Qs together. Okay, Qs are gapping up as well, and they're gapping up into a gap. Okay, same thing, kind of about the ES. They're also already pushed into a supply zone. Okay, so here's the profile for the Nasdaq, right? You got this push here, your most traded price here, and double distribution here, and this. Okay, so the most traded price of the week is stayed the same at 17,780. Okay, price is above that. I'm sorry. That's probably going to change, but this is still the most traded price of the week. Back up here around 18,030 something. Okay, this is the 24 hours. Okay, I don't want to confuse anybody. All right, so price is in the middle again of these big levels. This is what I'm saying. This market's in the middle of big levels. So most traded price of the week up here, most traded price of the month, the year, okay, is down here. The price is like in the middle of these two big levels. Okay, it's just like in the middle of a gap. It's just weird. It's weird. Okay, so yesterday, what did they do? What did the Nasdaq do? It defended the most traded price of the year and monthly VWAP. It pushed off, right? Closed at the highs. Okay, do we have any inventory here that's significant? Possibly. you have more of a net long overnight in the Qs. All right, you're at the top of the range, and most traded price is here at the top of the range in supply. Right, this looks like it could be setting up for a corrective action off the open. All right, if you stay up here in the supply zone, okay, and you come through that open, you could come right back to test these demand zones. Okay. Now I already spoke about the gap rules in the ES, so I don't have to go over that again. But I'm trying to see if there's any significance here. Okay, above weekly day VWAP, above monthly VWAP, so buyers are in control for the week and the month. Okay. So let's get into scenarios. All right. Okay. So yesterday's highs, yesterday's lows. So here's the gap fill. Here's price. Okay. So if you're a bull, okay, you do have support here. Week to date VWAP right here. And now this would be a safety net here. But you do have a stack of demand zones in here. And what do they coincide with? Overnight low. So that needs to be defended by the bulls. Okay, so you could push up into the supply zone, come back, fill the gap, even dip into this demand or dip into here, and then if it gets bought up, you're going to fill the gap and you're going to try to break out of this supply zone. All right, possibly go back up to the most traded price of the week. Okay, like I said, the safety net here is if it really came down here quickly and tapped that week to date, it could also push up the week to date VWAP. That's really all I would say I would be interested in. Okay. On the other side, the flip side, the bear side, okay, you're gapping up into a supply zone inside a gap. If you're a bear, you want to see a push higher and then failure, right? So see this most traded price of the overnight? These are most likely longs. Okay, and we already said we're long the market from here, here, here. Longs are getting paid in here, all higher lows. Okay, so if I'm a bear, I want to see a push up and then come through this most traded price of the overnight. You come through it. All right, and then you can test the gap fill and these demand zones. If you break through these demand zones here, you're going to test the day VWAP. You could get a little bounce, but then you're going to go right to the most traded price of yesterday, 17780. If that breaks, you're going down to the most traded price of the year, 177. So 17,700. Okay, so I mean, it's a pretty clear plan in the Nasdaq. Okay. Do I know if it comes out? Don't know. Don't know. We're just in the middle of these levels. It's a weird area. You need to. It's that CPI print with that big gap just made things weird. But we have a plan. Okay, we do have a plan. So that's it for me today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed what you saw. Okay. If you did, subscribe, set an alert. Okay, if you haven't already, I'd appreciate that. All right, if you like what you saw, give me a big thumbs up. And you can always follow me on X at Gonzo719. Okay, so basically we got our plan. It's patience. All right, we're gapping up. All right, gap and goes. I don't like them, so I want to see initially, who's we strong, we weak, and then I want to go with the strength. Okay, well, strength with the bulls macro wise. So got our plan. Hope everybody stays green today, and good luck. Be patient, and I'll see everybody tomorrow.